What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, baby. And we back. We missed last week. I ain't gonna lie, I was sick with the flu. It was fucking terrible, and I apologize for that. However, we back today to cover AEW Grandslam. I go by Jay, the babyface, the only one, Podbreaker, Podson Reed. You know, the one, the only. But could not do this without my co-host. We've been rocking down since day one ish, like from the bottom to the top. So I'm gonna pass it off to him. Mr. Heroic, would you please take it away?
He is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. He is Hero, and I am he, and it is good to be back. We didn't talk about it pre-show, but we're about to hit a year, or we already hit a year? I don't know.
We're a little past that, yeah. We're a little past that.
We're bad lovers. We got to give each other gifts and stuff. We just missed Valentine's Day. I should have sent you some cookies or something. Yeah, good to be back. Someone has an offer for us, and I just thought we should hear it out real quick. He's the most famous mouse of all time. He just went into public domain. Everybody, he doesn't need any introductions. Oh boy, listen here, Jay. I'm here to make you a lot of fucking money. Everybody knows Disney has a lot of IP. We have Star Wars. We have MCU. But what we don't have is some good old wrestling content, Jay. And there's nothing your old pal Mr. Mouse likes more than just two men wrestling, covered in oil. Craps. It really makes my Steamboat Willie, if you get where I drift.
Jesus Christ.
So here's the plan, Jay. You and your boys, just give me your souls, and I'll get you a lot of fucking money. Well, wait. You didn't... Well, we have a kind of like... Okay, you didn't say anything about giving... You didn't say anything about souls. Souls is what I want. Souls is what I get. I feel... Jay, I think we should wait for DT. We had this whole triangle of trust thing kind of going on, or...
Oh, my God.
You don't want to give him an answer right now, do you?
No, absolutely not. No. Believe in DT.
Don't keep me waiting, because if those bitches at Warner Brother try to give you a contract under my nose, I'll kill that fucking rabbit. I'll bathe in his blood for my spells. That's intense. But we will get back to you as soon as DT comes, Mr. Mouse.
Oh man,
shit,
bro. Jesus, man.
I did tell you I was trying to get his money. Man, we can get that Disney money, man.
Woo, fuck. He's gonna kill that fucking rabbit. That's fucking funny, bro. That's fucking funny. It's Jesus strange. Christ. Okay. Before we get into Grand Slam, we got a couple little bits and pieces of news here. A couple releases, couple signings. Let's start off with the releases. Unfortunately, we definitely saw a good number of talent either lose their jobs last week unexpectedly. Some picked up jobs other places. Hopefully, they all pick up jobs. But to start with AEW, we saw Malachi.
Wait. Let's
not releases. AEW. Not okay. Right. WWE releases. Looks like it was Giovanni Vinci. Right.
Yes, Giovanni. And these came out of nowhere. So because the other week or a couple weeks ago, we saw that what was it? Tegan Knox got let go. And then fast forward a little bit, it was Duke Hudson. I'm like, that kind of sucks. And then, just randomly they just started just throwing names at a wall and just like letting people go. So just in no particular order. I'll just run through the names and you could tell we can talk about how we feel about these if you want. We got Giovanni, we got AOP. I'm wearing the Final Testament t-shirt right now. Pray for my boys. Blair Davenport, Cedric Alexander, Isla Dawn, Electra Lopez, Sonya Deville on the E side.
Yeah, and then before that was also Duke Hudson, who was in NXT. Who a lot of people were upset at. I'm not really tapped in with NXT, but a lot of people were like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
I did not know he had a stand base to that level. It's I don't want to say it's funny, but it's I don't know, for a lack of a better term, it's funny like when you see like a like well we're talking about wrestlers, but it's like, damn, I didn't even know you had traction like that. I didn't know you had,
Right,
I didn't know
right,
you had
right,
people with the PFP of you like that. Like when you see like cuz you know Mercedes got stands, you know the
right.
Rollins heads, you know all the Reigns people like but yeah, people really was like filling for Duke. But
Yeah,
yeah, from what I knew of him, because he did have a quick stint on the main roster during the pandemic era. He was like tagging with Austin Theory for like a hot second. Um, he had a cool angle with him and Indy, and then him and Steph Delander, the lady who's with Matt Cardona on the in GCW and stuff. But yeah, he's a cool talent. Everyone else, a lot of them haven't been on TV.
mm-hmm.
Like a Blair, who we saw her a couple times. A lot of people were upset with that because a lot of people get upset when it's like, don't call people up from NXT if you don't have plans, which that is,
Facts.
there's valid arguments to that. And then, yeah, okay. So what, I guess I'll ask the question. What was the most shocking name to you out of the WWE releases?
Isla and
Yes.
Sonya, but and I'll explain why. So like Isla, like we know, like they were doing some solid shit. They had just won tag team titles last year. Like they were
Yeah.
they were
In the home
prominently
country.
featured in like in some SmackDown abuse and whatnot. Um, I liked them as a tag team. We were just waiting for them to get more, like push and more stories, more just build entirely. So that one was really that one surprised me. Sonya surprised me based off of like they were just in Rumble, and like in
Yeah.
Rumble they were the trios like popping people out. Like so I thought that maybe a slight little push was happening just based off like the way that they had looked. Granted, we all know that PFC in general was just a snooze fest, at least for me
Mhm.
personally. Sorry if that offended anybody. But to see that like we just break them up immediately before we even like switch them to a different brand, maybe we change the name up. Like there's a lot of other things that we could have did to try to like revitalize that trios, and I think a lot of it would have been the name and like music. But yeah, very surprised with that one. Gio was another one because he had just got the vignette. He was Mr. 305, Mr. Worldwide, like he was doing everything, and based off of like the way like his vignettes had went or his debut had went, like it was kind of like some you're losing but you're going to build yourself back up kind of thing. At least that's what I thought they were going with. But yeah, I definitely didn't see that like that coming like at all. What about you? What was the most surprising on your side?
So for me, it was Isla Dawn as well.
Okay.
She I don't know. I'm just a fan, and that's not even like I don't mean that in, like in an attraction way. Although she is very attractive, but yeah, no, I was a fan of Spooky Girls. I didn't dislike her work in NXT UK. I thought her and Alba were a solid tag team, and if they were consistent with like how keeping them on TV, I thought it'd be perfectly fine. Um, I don't think, and for majority of these names, I don't think it's over for them or
No.
anything. Like I think they can come back. But yeah, no, Isla Dawn was for sure the most like shocking. Where it was like, why her of all people? Or the Sonya thing. I feel for Sonya, but she has been in this company for a very long time, and she did have some setbacks with like the home invasion and some injuries. But like with her and unfortunately, like with her and like Elektra Lopez, who I love Elektra Lopez, the in ring work didn't necessarily approve. And we could argue
Mm-hmm.
like they didn't get super crazy time. Well, Sonya for sure did, but like Elektra, we could argue, we didn't see her a lot on TV or whatnot. But we also don't know what they were doing during the house show stint and stuff like that. Um, so I feel like they try to they're trying to clear some cap space because we're gonna get some more call up soon. They're also hiring people.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, I would say Isla was probably the most shocking to me, and then Blair. But Blair in the sense
Yeah.
because I feel like she did get she got 3 televised matches, and maybe they saw something that they were like, because she had 2 matches with Naomi, and they weren't that good, and Naomi is based on what we were talking about the last episode. She's one of those people I would consider like a litmus test type person, to where it's like you should be able to have a good match with her. And those 2 matches weren't that good. And then she was in the U.S. qualifiers, so maybe they saw something where they're like, you could use some more work or something, or maybe a revamp on some Drew McIntyre stuff. So yeah, I don't think this is the end for a lot of this talent. I just think they probably need a fresh start somewhere. TNA, AEW, New Japan, something like that.
So like for me, when I'm looking at like Elektra and like Sonya, it kind of makes me a little like bummed out that like the manager thing is just not a thing anymore, right? Like managers were a huge part of wrestling culture, especially like, you know, just growing up. Like everybody had like, you know, it could be like, I don't know, HBK, and he had like a ring manager. Macho Man had like a manager. Like, so it's just kind of interesting that we're kind of getting away from, like we're getting away from that culture. Like those are very important pieces to wrestling. And I think when it comes to managers, you definitely have to be more involved in like storylines, whether that's like Nana getting hemmed up by somebody. Like you are part of the story and in a very integral way. And I don't think that maybe Elektra Lopez got a fair shake at like being involved in certain like elements in that case.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was like for her situation, and it's the same thing because I had the same discussion with like when we talk about Final Testament and stuff, like who's the talking piece? Like with Legado, Santos is the best talker out of all of them. So then it's like all she's doing is being eye candy, unless like you get her in the damn ring, get her active. Similar to Maxine, because I mean, like there was a point in time on the pod where I was like, please don't have her wrestle on TV. And then, you know, she was doing house shows, and now Maxine is better, and she's more than just eye candy. She has matches, and So to piggyback off what you're saying, like like as far as not being a fair shakeup, like they could have given her some more opportunities. But yeah, in that particular group, yeah, she wasn't the mouthpiece because Santos is clearly the best talker, you know. So yeah, I see what you mean on that one.
And as far as like the talent that did get released is that some of them have different wrestling styles. Like we're going to talk about this more when we get to like, you know, AEW and Ricky and whatnot. But it's like, you can do better in other places based on how your move sets and everything work. We always joke about the unlocked move sets when people leave and whatnot. But the truth of the matter is that maybe your move set may fit better in a Japan, better in a TNA, better in AEW. And so I'm excited to see like, you know, some of these talent like land on their feet in certain places and whatnot. Like we got a partnership with TNA, so you know you still have a doorway to WWE if that's where you want to go. And Blair was huge over in like Stardom and whatnot, so maybe she wants to go back over there. It's a possibility. Yeah. So we'll see.
She could go to AEW. And I don't think everyone should go to AEW.
No,
similar to why everyone just can't come to the E. Like people, like you don't want TK signing every single body like he was the previous 4 years,
exactly,
and whatnot. And now that like TNA's super popping, you know, you got Stardom, you got Marigold out now. Like there is opportunity for a lot of other talents to like try other
Make
things.
Believe.
Yeah, and then and not just with move sets or like it's also like personality, like. On these runs, as you guys are trying to figure out your new stuff, like this is a time to like try a new gimmick, try something to, you know, just try to switch it up, and like don't go to a new company doing the same thing just because it was like popular in the indies doesn't mean it's going to be popular or translate well on TV. Also, like 2 years ago, well, not even 2 years ago, but like Timeless Toni Storm is a good example. Like she went to AEW, she was doing the same shtick, but then she created a whole new character, and it's like the most over character in that company, you know?
Right. On the AEW side, we saw that Malachi Black, Miro, Ricky Starks. Yes. All three that we've been kind of speculating on for a while. Maybe not with the exception of Miro. We haven't really talked about Miro like that, but we kind of knew that he was kind of done.
Last time we heard him, he publicly asked for his release, and that was like randomly in like July or August or something like that. It was super random. And that was the last time I heard
none of these surprised me. It's actually kind of I don't know if I could just like shout out or anything like that, but it's like none of them have 90-day clauses. So they can just pop back up or pop up wherever they want to pop up. I actually fact checked that with Fightful, and so like there is no clauses or anything like that. I expect all three to pop up in WWE. Actually, we know that one already popped up, but the other two are definitely going to be on their way sometime soon. I would assume like Raw after Mania, maybe, because right now everything's kind of like in full motion. You know, you already got your storylines and everything planned out and whatnot.
Okay, wait. Before you go on, if you're the E, like, if you're the E, do you want Miro? And I mean, and I'm asking this respectfully, but like, if you had to choose out of the three, and obviously they chose, we already got one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want a Miro? Like, is there room for it? Do you think there's room for a Miro on either brand, on a SmackDown or on a Raw? Like, is there? Granted, I mean, SmackDown do need some more mid card people, like absolutely.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, like, do you like do we need like, I don't know? Do you think I don't know, because I don't know. I mean, he left the company not on, I wouldn't say on bad terms, but not on great terms. I'm sure he's matured more after like his, you know, with whatever, you know, with his ex and whatnot. I'm sure he's a different person, and I'm pretty sure he was well liked. Like he got along with everybody. So I don't know. It's just thinking about it though. Like when you brought up like move sets and whatnot, and just like, do we have the room for some of this talent?
That's a good question, because we also don't want like, you know, WWE to be in a situation where you are signing like, you know, everybody and now we push somebody out. Like that's the unfortunate cycle, right? Which whoever comes in is taking somebody's like time and whatnot. I think because it was under VKM, he may feel like he can do a little bit better under the Levesque era. But the thing about the Levesque era my personal opinion is that it just takes a little bit longer when it comes to booking and stuff like that. Like it may take a little bit longer for you to get to your destination of what you want and whatever that may be. If Miro's coming in with the intentions of being like WWE champion or world heavyweight champion, it may be a little bit longer. You know, it may take a little bit of time to get there. And is that something that he would be willing to do? And granted, you know, that could be the case where it's like, I'm getting paid, I'm back in WWE, this is where I want to be at. Cool. But if he's coming in with the intentions of being world champion, it may be a little bit.
Yeah.
And Rusev Day was over. Rusev Day was mad
over as shit. And I think Rusev Day would translate well, because I saw someone on Twitter was like, they were like, yeah, no, like Miro would like in this current era of the E. I mean, this current era of wrestling in general, like fans at any promotion, they just want to yell shit. And you can see that. You can see that at every show, whether it's TNA, AEW. Like a lot of these fans just want to yell shit. And so if you have an over-ass catchphrase and you're actually just like a good personality, such as like a Jay, like you have a great personality, you're like your people are naturally attracted to like or draw to you, like because you're awesome and you're like cool. You present yourself as cool and shit. Like yeah, no, I think if Rusev Day happened now, I think Rusev Day would be over as fuck. And I was over. I loved Rusev Day. Like that's when I was like, yeah. I mean, I liked Rusev when I first saw him, which was that Mania, and I was like, oh, he came out in a tank. How can you not fuck with that? Yeah, I was like, how can you not fuck with that? Like he came out in a fucking tank. Yeah.
I think the question begs like, can you hit lightning in a bottle twice? You know, like, will you be as over as 2016, 2018 Rusev? Like, is that still a possibility? And like I think like time will tell. I think he ends up signing. I think they'll give him a shot because he's a former WWE talent. And the thing is like, man, if we can re-sign Punk, anybody can come back. You know what I'm saying? Right. Like the bridge can't be that burnt. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean they got Ventura. Yeah, they just
like anything's possible.
Yeah, we didn't put it in the news, but they just Demolition was a person who was in legal battles for decades, and they finally solved it. So they're probably going to be in the Hall of Fame now. You know, like triple the Levesque and Nick Khan era. They're mending a lot of fences.
For sure. Yeah. Ricky pops up on NXT.
Yes. And his release came out on Monday, so that's why like out of all of
them, that nigga moved quick. Or they had some in the works. I'm not going to put any smut in nobody's name, but it's like that motherfucker was there immediately.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he shows up at the end of the show. He comes through the crowd goes crazy. He doesn't say his name. There's a lot of speculation that there's going to be a name change. especially because they WWE just like did a copyright of like 12 different names.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he showed up to NXT and the crowd loved it. The internet took I know it was. It seemed like it was good and well received throughout everyone. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It's funny because like I didn't really see like, and I'm on like a good portion of AEW and WWE stuff, or WWE like IWC, but like everybody was okay with it. Like there wasn't no like, why is Ricky here? Oh, look at Ricky being a traitor, nothing like that. It was just like, it just fits, bro. Like we knew that he wanted to be out, so we got that done. But also Ricky Starks is an entertainer, at least from what I've seen. I never was too much of a fan of like his wrestling ability, but his character work is what makes him. So you're going to a place where character work and promos are everything. Not saying wrestling is not the majority or like the main factor in WWE, but it's definitely not as important as character and connection with fans. And
if there's a pie chart, if there was a pie chart, it would that part would be a little bigger on the slice of pie.
Absolutely. And Ricky's going to do well.
LA Knight. Yeah. Oh yeah. I think.
Absolutely.
I think that's why I would compare it to. Or like, I mean, granted, I think Miz is great in the ring, but people like to dunk on Miz's in-ring ability. But then when you look at his mic skills and like his character work, it's like it's top level heel shit. So I would compare it to that, I guess, based off of what you said. Yeah. Because I've seen him a couple. I saw him. How long?
How long do we see Ricky in NXT? And is there a spot for him on like one of the main rosters? Like, where do you?
I think you see
same thing we say about Miro. Like, where do you fit?
I think he's in NXT for a year at the most. Because we talked about it before on an episode, the men's division on NXT is lacking compared to the women's division on NXT. They need some star power. That's one of the reasons where I'm like, I don't think Trick is coming just yet. Shit like that, where it's like they need like, so I could see Ricky being there for like a half a year or a year. Maybe he comes to the main roster during next Rumble or next Survivor Series or some shit like that. So from now to November or something like that. So maybe a half a year. I don't know, but yeah, I see him there for a little bit. He'll probably get a run with at least one of those. He will for sure get a run with one of those two titles.
I was like, I can see Ricky as North American champion. That fits.
Yeah, I mean, shit. Ethan Page was NXT for like 2 months or a month. So yeah, no, I think sky's the limit on NXT. I think he'll be there for at least a year, just to make sure that there is room for when he gets called up. Hopefully, or I wouldn't say hopefully, he would get called up, but just to make sure there's room or a spot.
Yeah, because I just don't want nobody else to get drafted and not used. Like that, it seems like that bottom half of the people that got drafted didn't really make the cut on like the main roster, and that's just unfortunate to them. We talked about Blair, and Blair was being used in NXT. And I think when she had got drafted, she looked surprised, like she had got drafted. So
yeah, I think she was in the middle of a feud or some shit.
Yeah, like let's just bring up who we need to bring up and leave people where they're at, until there's a spot for them and whatnot. Shout out to Ricky. What's up?
The Good Brothers. That's who we were missing.
Yeah. Gallows and Anderson.
But I mean, they the ultimate check stealers. I'm surprised that they lasted this long.
Check stealers,
bruh.
Bro, we can't say that.
I mean it as respectfully as possible, bro. They know how to get a check, bro. When they first came back, what was it, 2023? That year when they came back, they were in AEW, TNA, and WWE. They was getting checks, bro. They
was getting paid.
We gonna get a bag. We gonna get a bag any and everywhere, bro. That's who.
Yeah, and I think the last time we saw them, it was like SmackDown. I think they had like the 6-man like tag or something like that. I think because Cruz and Apollo were a tag team.
And then they've been in NXT for like
Baron Corbin.
Yeah, they've been in NXT the better part of like a year. Ever since AJ went heel for a little bit for that Cody feud. Yeah, I know. They've been in NXT and they haven't been on NXT TV. They just been chilling, so
And they'll be fine. They're gonna pop up wherever they want to pop up. Like they're one of those like tag teams that are just like embedded in like tag team history in all companies, like they're gonna be okay.
Yeah, they could go. They could easily go back to Japan. They love Carl Anderson, and like they love him in Japan.
That's true.
You know.
Anything we want to say about Malachi? Is there anything that is like?
I'm just gonna wait to see what happens. It seems like if we have to guess, he seems like he would be SmackDown bound because they moved Zelina to SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Ooh, that's because Wyatt Six are on SmackDown / Alexa. I don't know how much spooky you want on one show. And that's assuming he comes back as spooky.
It's true.
He might just.
Hey, if you come back with the glass eye, like carrying a gimmick between two companies over 5 years is dedicated character work.
Yeah,
coming back still with the injured eye would be fucking hilarious.
I think he will too. I think he will. Just to have that callback with him and Seth that would eventually happen. Yeah, he's definitely do that. He's a worker. He keeps.
For sure.
he is a worker.
For sure.
But yeah, no, I again like the mid card specifically on SmackDown. It needs a couple more bodies other than just LA and Shinsuke and Miz now. / Hayes and Andrade. That's pretty much it on SmackDown right now.
Where's Cross at? Cross on Raw?
Yeah, he's on Raw.
Cross on SmackDown?
No, he's on Raw.
He might be going to SmackDown. Not Cross, but Malachi.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah. I just want to see when he comes back. He's getting back or welcome arms with me. Like I've always been a fan of Malachi.
For sure.
The
fuck?
So.
Yes. Yeah. One we didn't get to, and it's semi, maybe some slight drama around. Hurt Syndicate is looking for one more.
Right.
Cedric just got released. Now we know the history between, Cedric's wife and Toni. We don't know if anything's been mended privately for this public outburst that happened with Toni and Swole, which was some bullshit. But if that did get mended, do we see Cedric with Hurt Syndicate?
It's the wrestling business, so I'm gonna say anything is possible. If it was me, it would be a no. No
amount of money, no amount of bag or anything would help you.
I mean, man, the apology would have to be as loud as the disrespect for one thing, and then two, like, I don't know, man. That's a hard conversation to have with your wife. And yeah, I mean, yes, people need a bag, but again, like, there's other TNA is thriving right now, like. And I think there's a certain reason why not every single person just immediately jumps to AEW. Like Corbin, he didn't go like, if I'm Cedric, I'm looking at Mustafa Ali and because they were super cool. Like they were tagged for a second. I'm gonna try to be with him personally. Because if you think about it, like, yes, Tony TK will give you probably 2 more zeros than H was going to give you. Maybe, but then what's going to happen is it's going to be similar to like his role in the previous Hurt Business. He's going to be the dude taking all the pins. Shelton already took too many pins off of way too many like small ass people who don't deserve to pin him personally. So he's just going to be the pin guy, which is fine as long as they have gold and you get a paycheck and you're on TV. But this is a chance during these releases, like, for you to find a new character, find a new lease in life. So if you want to do the Hurt Business thing, get that extra zero, that is perfectly fine. I will try my hardest not to judge him, but for me personally, I would need the apology be as loud as the disrespect was. And
for sure, especially because it's so public.
Yeah, and I don't know if the money is worth it, but then again, like, you can, like, everyone,
a bag is a bag.
A bag is a bag, and like, who knows, like, what the conversations went down or anything like that. So I don't know. Anything's possible. I wouldn't do it.
I just think it's a little difficult when also, like, you see that the group that you are a part of is over as fuck right now. Like, it'd be different. Hurt Syndicate was like, oh, they're like, they're not really popping, but like right now they're big as shit. Like the chants are fucking crazy. I'm pretty sure merch is looking pretty good and whatnot. AEW has a trios tag, which has been non-existent as of late, but there's always a possibility of the three of you guys holding gold and performing together. To whereas in WWE it's like just a tag, where it's just you and Shelton, and Bobby did his own thing.
Wait, speaking of Hurt Syndicate, real quick, the We Hurt People chant. Mm-hmm. In theory, it's fire, but it just does not come off good. There is no rhythm to it. You can't get in sync. You'll just be in a match and you just hear fucking 100 white people screaming, "We hurt people, we hurt people," and I'm like, what is going on? But in theory, the chant, I get it. Like
the chant is fucking hard, but you are right. It's unrhythm. There is no rhythm. You can't.
Like
salt and pepper on chicken. It is bland.
It's not like New Day Rocks or like any other chant. It's like it's just niggas people just yelling.
But they need help. When New Day Rocks, it was clapping that shit. You needed the claps to be on rhythm. When there is no like helpful instrument, in the chant.
Yeah,
we see with the yeet chants, the whole yeet like arm swinging be fucking people up in the crowd.
Oh yeah.
It's just they need a rhythm modification or a rhythm like notifier to kind of like be on fucking pace.
They gotta sing it or something. We hurt people or something. We gotta switch. We gotta figure something out.
It's simple because it's so easy. Like it's still like there's no rhythm with it. Like we hurt people is they say it in the fucking theme song, and y'all niggas is still offbeat. I don't know, man. You are right though.
In theory, though, I do like it. I'm not trying to come off as a hater.
That shit is fucking fire.
Yeah, we just gotta yell. Anyway.
Michelle McCool got inducted into the Hall of Fame. I think she was on some show, something on ESPN, right, or some like sports show.
Yeah,
where they had broke the news that she's in the Hall of Fame. Well deserved. Michelle McCool is one of the ones that kind of like pioneered the women's wrestling era. I hate the word divas era because it just feels so condescending to me, but she was a part of like that divas era run. Yeah. And it has nothing to do with, who she's married to. She put in a lot of work herself, so congratulations to her. That's a huge, huge moment. All-Star Weekend was this weekend. We saw that Bayley got put into the celebrity game. From what I looked up, she didn't get a lot of playing time, but she was definitely out there for sure. Mm-hmm. That's also a great fucking look for, herself and WWE. I say herself because now this is where the networking comes into play. And maybe, hey, we got a little spot for you on like, Mandalorian 6 or whatever. Like this is where that networking kind of like happens. It couldn't happen to like a better person. Bayley is fucking amazing. So hopefully she had a lot of fun.
And this is the second year they had a WWE star because last year the Miz was in it.
It was Miz,
he had that half court buzzer beater.
Also, shout out to Bayley. Bayley's been moving. Yeah. I don't know if we've been looking at like the travel, but it was San Fran for All-Star Weekend, right? Even before that, she was where was SmackDown? Was it DC this week?
I think so. Yeah, I think they're in DC.
Like she was everywhere within a span of like
NXT, SmackDown,
days,
All-Star Weekend, and that's that's like 2 weeks in a row. She's been working all three shows, or maybe 3 weeks. In a row.
Fucking G. Yeah. Like shout out to Bayley. You definitely need some much deserved rest. I know that jet lag is fucking brutal right now. Mm-hmm. And before we get out of the news, we want to send I guess congratulations is not the right word, but shout out to Chris Bay. We've seen that like. He looks like he's on the path to recovery from that devastating injury that happened a while back. Yeah. It seemed like, or from what I read, that he had lost feeling in his neck or in his body to where he couldn't move. It looks like there was some spinal damage and whatnot, but he posted a video where he's up and he's walking. And that's fucking huge, bro.
Yeah. It was good. That was the best part of wrestling Twitter that day when that
for sure. Especially based on the way like everybody reacted when it happened. Like everybody's like, hey, let's send as much love as we can to Chris Bay. So shout out to him. Like that was fucking dope to see, like for sure. Yeah. Next up is our coverage over AEW Grandslam, which was in Australia this week. Before we get into that, I will send what.
Oh. No, go for it. I was just going to do quick hits. If you want to just do some quick.
And that's what I was going to get into. Yeah.
All right, bet.
I got some quick hits for NXT. So I watched a couple matches because I've been hearing about Fraxium. I've been hearing about them motherfuckers for months now,
Best
and I
tag team
decided
in
to
the world,
tune
right
in. Hey, they looking fucking ill over there in
there.
NXT. The match they have, I believe, Josh Briggs, and it was somebody from Noah, but they had a dope fucking match. Fraxium is, I understand the hype. I understand it's definitely equal. Like the hype isn't, they're not overhyped. That's equal hype. They are
Yeah,
fucking
they're
solid,
properly hyped.
properly fucking hyped. Them boys is fucking dope. So shout out to them NXT. I'm almost done with the Fatal 4-Way with Bailey, Julia, Cora, and Roxanne. That I was looking good as well. Like NXT is where I look for, like, now that I think about it, like that's where you can get your WWE like wrestling fix. Like just the graps, like you can check NXT for that. Not saying you don't get on the main roster because we have some matches this week that definitely has some graps, but like it looks like NXT's where you get that level of like graps over promos and shit like that. Checked out some New Japan stuff this week too. So shout out to Gabe Kidd, and I believe I gotta look at the name, but they had a fucking banger match in Osaka. The shit was fucking solid, and it ended in a draw too. And I don't really like draws, but them motherfuckers were banging. Pause. As far as like this week, what you got for this week's?
I was gonna say I don't like draws either, but then
that was OD. That was OD.
Just a quick recap of Raw. Jey opens the show. Gunther attacks him. Jey chooses Gunther, which was like, if you've been watching, you kind of already knew that was going to happen anyway. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we're gonna get Gunther and Jey 3 at WrestleMania. After that, we had 2 banger woman matches back to back, which is kind of why I even wanted to talk about Raw at all. You had Liv and Raquel versus Damage Control, and that shit was fire.
It was good,
man.
He was my favorite wrestler in WWE. Io, like,
I feel it.
She has
it. I mean, if you see me on Blue Sky, you know, like I'd be gassing up Io just as much as I'd be gassing up Seth. Love Io and Liv again. Like this, like ever since her return last year, Liv has been absolutely outstanding. There's a reason why she was number 2 or number 3 in the best women of 2024 behind like a Toni, like and / Rhea. There's a reason why she was in that top 3, and it's because she's been doing a lot of good work, despite like how people felt about the feud and like, you know, her cheating. Her in-ring work and her character work and her face expressions during stuff, like Liv has been great. And we even got color. She was bleeding at a spot.
Yeah. I was like, they bleeding?
Yeah. It was like, fire match. And then after that, we get elimination qualifier with Lyra versus Bailey.
Mm-hmm.
And I skeeted it. Like, this is the most Lyra's ever been like cheered, and I'm like, I don't know, I think they were in Nashville, I forgot where they were. I'm like, but this crowd actually knew who the fuck Lyra was, and it made the match even better. It made her whole presentation even better because people were actually doing the woo for her song and shit. And and yeah, she's put on, this is like her 4th, 5th banger since she got joined the main roster. Lyra is, granted, she hasn't defended her damn title yet. They are still positioning her to be the future at some point.
Yeah, hopefully we get another like version of this match. Maybe we can get Lyra over Bailey in that one. But like they was fucking grapping, bro. Like I tweeted out that like, yo, like they actually wrestling. Like it was slow, methodical grabs. And so much so that like there was like some sloppy moments, but it was based off of the way that they've been wrestling. Like it was just pure wrestling for like 20 minutes, bro. Like I expected somebody to like have 1 or 2 slip ups, you know, just based on how much they were fucking like wrapping up. But the match was fucking great. My thing is, you know, I hate roll ups, but that's my only like nitpick with it. But other than that, man, they fucking balled out. Like they was fucking hooping.
Yep. And then we had another tag match, which was War Raiders versus American Made. That was a good match too. Ends in DQ, but it's setting up a further feud. You get an AJ promo that gets interrupted by Dom. That is what it is. Finn Balor's still crashing out. He's looking more like a jackass. Him and Seth have a nice exchange. Then
that is true. They did.
Yeah, I mean, and my boy barred him up. Yeah, and then we get a Punk promo. Logan interrupts it, and like I hate, man. During that promo, though, there was a point in time where I was like, I really actually want to see this match. I
between Logan and Punk.
Like there was a point in time when they were talking, and I'm like, this is a really good promo. I really want to see them scrap now. Fuck all this other stuff. And that sets up for the main event, which was Logan and Rey Mysterio, which was also a good match, way better than their Saudi match a couple years ago. And
he got no love for me.
Yeah, and then Logan
just. Yeah, as far as Punk and Logan only excites me because Punk would bar him the fuck up in a very not sneak dissing manner. Like he's gonna say some shit that he's gonna get off his chest. If Punk is barring up Seth, he's gonna do numbers on fucking Logan for sure. But this match also put Logan in Elimination Chamber too, right? So Logan will be a part of that.
Yes,
I think there's
one more spot left. Right now it's Logan, John Cena, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk, and then Priest, and then either Finn Balor or Seth Rollins. So it's a stack. And then on the women's side, Naomi, Bianca, Bayley, Alexa Bliss, and Liv Morgan. Like that's a stocked ass chamber too.
It's also like noticing that like Bliss is continuing her Wyatt stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like when she first came back, I was like, okay, I thought it was like, an homage, like paying, just showing love out to Bray and whatnot. But it seems like she's on SmackDown with the doll, still kind of in the Wyatt like gimmick and whatnot, wearing the merch and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see like her part in the whole Wyatt Six, because we haven't seen them pop up on SmackDown yet.
No, right? One of them are injured. I think it might be Bo, which is one of the reasons we haven't seen it. Granted, like they don't have to wrestle, so I don't know like how extensive the injury is to where you can't travel and put on a mask, but that is what it is. And then the last 2 weeks during Alexa's TV spots, you've seen like glitching and whatnot, so that more connection to the Wyatt Six. And also, I mean, it was heavily hinted even pre Wyatt Six debut that this was a possibility, because their name is Wyatt Six. At first, it's supposed to be the number 6, but they just spell it as in SICK. They still need a 6th member technically, and to me, it was at least always presented to more than likely be Alexa. So I think they're on the track to figuring that out. And honestly, there's no rush, especially if people are injured. So it is what it is.
That's true. We got anything we would talk about on SmackDown? It's like SmackDown is killing me, man.
Bro, like
Jesus Christ.
It's really hard to watch these shows. Mostly because it's, again, like I work, so I usually can't watch the third hour. But some of these have been slow. Naomi and Chelsea Green have a good match. Naomi advances. We get a Sami Zayn response from his couch, and then we get a KO promo in the car. And it looks like it's scheduled for Elimination Chamber in Canada. So we'll see about that.
Where the fuck is Randy?
I don't know.
Where's Randy at?
A lot of people are still hinting. I don't know. Oh, DT just pulled up. Interesting. We get a cool moment with Solo and Fatu finally talk. You see Solo tell Fatu he loves him, and he tries to hype him up for the triple threat. And he's like, "You need to bring this title back to the family," which Solo kind of f's that up by intervening, accidentally hitting Tama, and then Priest wins. And that's pretty much the show. Cody gets his lick back, and now he's focused on whoever's going to win the chamber, since Jey already chose his opponent. So.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then
Nia and Tiffy had a good fucking match too.
Yes, and then Charlotte
they had a great
Tiffany.
fucking match.
Yeah,
yep.
Yes, they did.
And we're not surprised at that. We knew that Charlotte was choosing Tiffy. We've talked about that like months ago. Does she need to win this one?
No. And it's going to be interesting because people are definitely going to cheer Tiffany more. I've seen her as a face for a hot second, and it wasn't the greatest. So it's going to be interesting to see her as this tweener / face in this feud, because obviously people want to boo Charlotte. So yeah,
Yeah,
hopefully it
and
translates well.
she has a match at Elimination Chamber 2. It's her and Trish, right? It's Tiffy, Trish Stratus, and versus Nia and Candice, I thought.
Oh, really? I didn't. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I think that was the match that they announced. Because once again, you're in Toronto, so Trish Stratus is like right down the street.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was pretty much like SmackDown. Like nothing really too crazy happens. Wait, reverse that. We got a video. It looks like Liv and Raquel may be responsible for the Jade Cargill injury.
Yeah, I mean that's a swerve. I saw people on the internet really take that as like verbatim, and I'm like, have you guys not watched wrestling? Like, look how invested Naomi was. Like, look how over the top she was with everything. I'm telling y'all, it's Naomi. She did it.
Don't fall for the pump fake. Stay on your feet, man. It definitely looked like it looks like a swerve. It looks like they're trying to pin it on Liv and Raquel. It's funny. I think Pierce came out and said that like Bianca and Naomi will be on Raw today, if you're listening to this. So we'll see how like that plays out too, because you know, naturally I want to blame Liv and Raquel for everything, but this one just doesn't seem like it's them.
Honestly, I'm still hoping. I want us both to be right. I want it to be Naomi, but with Lash and Jakara helping. I want us to both be right.
Fire. That would be so cold, bro. I just
and also I feel another thing that I feel like people just like let go of their head is that the fact that they're because it's been a couple weeks since they like brought up this Jade attack. I'm hoping this means Jade is getting back to being cleared. I feel like this means that she's going to get cleared relatively soon, since they're bringing it back up. Because there was like 2 weeks of like, who attacked Jade, and they don't mention it, you know. So
whatever they're setting up is clearly setting up for Mania, because Jade won't be back for Elimination Chamber. Next big pay-per-view is Mania, so whatever it is, like this is going to be the Mania like match or whatever.
Unless she's like super injured still or whatever's going, like we still don't know.
That's true. That's true.
We still don't know what's going on. Clearly she's injured. They're trying to downplay it, I mean, yeah, there's no way you keep it off of TV this long and then I don't know. I think she was injured. Just what though? Because she still posted Instagram the thirst traps and shit. Like, what are you doing?
Maybe she's also like just healthy and just waiting for like, you know, the story to play out a little bit. You know, we probably got another like vignette or videos that we got to see before she like pops up and whatnot. So maybe you just got to like let it play out, as you would say. Let it play out. Cool. AEW Grandslam in Australia. Brisbane. Let's get off with my negatives real quick, just off starting the show. Delayed like a motherfucker. They said that like, oh, it's gonna start right after the All-Star, you know, event or whatever, and bitch said 7:30. It probably didn't pop on until like 8. And that's no biggie, because you can just fucking either watch live or you can wait till the next day. But just that overlap between them and the NBA, I don't know if it's gonna pay out. Hopefully it does, but for the people who are watching on Max, you definitely got that joint a little bit late. As far as like Triller and everything like that, they watched it on time. So it was kind of sucked to be out of sync with your social media people, because people are watching on different like time frames, and people are on the Edge match versus people on like the Mercedes match. But that was probably one of my bigger like nitpicks. That's pretty much it. Everything else was solid.
My overall nitpick is it's kind of an umbrella. It's just the whole shit show, from this show being first announced to it finally happening. The show ended up being good, for what it's worth. I mean, even if it wasn't good, people were gonna gas it up anyway. It's just the gaslighting to make us be like, oh, it was never a pay-per-view, even though it was at first, because there's no way you're gonna put a collision in a 53K stadium. That wouldn't make any sense. Then there was the whole debacle of like they had a switch, and some fans, like, granted they because they talked about like this is one of their biggest gates, One of the reasons for that is because the people who bought the stadium seats couldn't get refunded. Like, so
refunds. I did see that.
They still paid those stadium prices for that seating. The presentation, granted, they had the wrong size ring. There's still stories coming about that. Yeah, their ring didn't get, so like if you look at it, you notice the ring is smaller. The posts are kind of bent in. They had problems shipping the ring. That part is fine. That is what it is. The presentation of the actual arena, it looked good. With the amount of crowd that they had and the lighting that they did for it. But yeah, just the overall, just like from beginning to end, it was just such a shit show. It's like planning a party or doing a group project the entire time, and it's like you just know it's gonna suck, but then you still end up getting a B. But you had to you had to go through all that bullshit though. The weeks, the months, like,
and that's what's so crazy, right? Is that like you had the stadium overlap or mishap, the pay-per-view thing, which we talked about before. Like none of the Grand Slams were pay-per-views anyway. But like just the overall, like it was so much like minute nitpicking that led into this, and the show was still really fucking good. It's like y'all lucky that y'all can put out like a good product that like it overlaps like y'all fucking mishaps. The thing is though, you can't keep getting away with that. You know what I'm saying? Like that can't be your only out, you know? Also, there was no steel steps. I did notice that kind of like threw me for a loop too.
It was because
that was kind of weird.
Yeah, it was like and you could tell like, the apron the side of the apron was bigger. Like, yeah, it was just they had to borrow a ring. They called in a favor from someone who's friends with Kyle Fletcher, an indie promotion. So yeah, they were using a 18-foot ring instead of a 20, I believe. The
20-foot, and I think that QT was also on Twitter talking about that, where it's like, bro, we're talking about like the ring. Like overall, how was the show? We talking about the ring. Granted, the ring was smaller, and we've seen like the small ring. We've seen the small ladders in AEW before, but it's like, how was the product, my nigga? Let's talk about like the show. Nitpicking and arguing over 18 and 20 feet ring from people who have never been in the ring is fucking funny as fuck to me. It's like,
it's like it doesn't need to be. I feel like it's a valid talking point. It doesn't need to be something that like you super shit on them for or dunk on them, but it is like. I think it's a valid talking point, but also like, yeah, it's nothing to like super harp on. The show was good. No one got injured from it. It just looked really fucking weird.
It visually looked interesting.
Weird, and it's like I gotta talk. This looks weird. So, but yeah, no, it doesn't need to be some crazy super long bullet talking point or nothing like that.
Nah. They kick off Kenny Ospreay versus Konosuke and Fletcher. Man, like
Konosuke's the GOAT, bro. Konosuke's he's really that guy. He's the only reason I watched the show. I'll keep it a buck, bro. Konosuke's really that guy, bro. His Blue Thunder Bomb is perfection. Man, the Alpha.
He is good. He's fucking good.
I really like, man. Bro. If I'm TK, I'm scrapping all this. I'm booking him like baby Brock Lesnar, bro. There's no reason he shouldn't be F5 in niggas, bro. Konosuke is bro. I'm sorry. But Deadeye, like from beginning to end, solid match, really good match. The crowd was into it as they should be.
International crowds are killing us, bro. They are bodying us.
Yeah, like, and you know what's gonna be crazy to go if we pivot to WWE real quick, because they're gonna do that whole European tour right before Mania. Oh my god! It's like, so every Raw and SmackDown is gonna be like fire for like a month, and then they're gonna come back here and it's gonna be fucking what? We're gonna get fucking what chance, bro.
Fuck, bro, we gonna fucking get banger fucking audiences, and them motherfuckers gonna hit like fucking Arkansas, and we be like, damn, bro, what is up, yo?
Yeah.
But yeah, international crowds, bro, like they're just it makes watching the show so much more enjoyable when like the crowd is going fucking nuts, man. Like it shout out to them. Like, and I think it's just a different level of appreciation. Over here we can travel from state to state and see shows and whatnot, but when you go into Australia for the first time, like people are coming out to like fucking like participate in being in the environment. But going back to the match, solid. And this match is interesting because like Kenny didn't have to do a lot. Kenny was actually underperforming a little bit in this match, and rightfully so. I don't need you to be fucking 130% every time. I'm glad that this is your first match since Maximum Carnage. Like, Kenny don't need to be wrestling hella fucking hard.
No, he doesn't need to wrestle every week. We talked about it. I personally, I think he should be on like a Roman-ish schedule, or even just a Punk schedule. Just he doesn't need to be wrestling every week.
No.
Like he didn't need to wrestle Brian Cage last night. But yeah, I thought this match was good. Kenny looked good to me. There was 3 times though he did a poison Rana. And I'm like, bro, it looked like he damn near gave himself a concussion. And I don't know if it's because, like, if it was I don't think it was the smaller ring, because he did 2 Hurricanrana spots before that, and they all looked like, I don't know, it looked like he was landing weird. I'm like, bro, please don't hurt yourself on a poison Rana.
Right.
They had a cool, Will had some cool jumping spots as usual.
Corkscrews, yep.
Tony Schiavone
what
really
we think
sucks,
about...
man. I need they need to leave him in this week. Tony Schiavone is bad. I had to get that off before I forgot because I wrote it down. Also, Bryce, the referee for this match, I don't like him. He's a terrible referee.
You don't like Bryce? How do you not like a ref? You are the first nigga I've ever seen like, yo, the ref by name, I don't like. That's crazy.
I don't like that. I had to make sure I wrote his name down. I don't like that name, bro.
That is fucking wild. I've never seen a ref get a shot. You know the ref, Bryce. Fuck him. Like, what do you mean?
Every single time I see him in a match, he pisses me off. He legitimately pisses me off because like. There's always a spot where he's looking in the completely wrong direction for no reason, being distracted, and it's like I'm not gonna blame the talent on that. I'm blaming you. Like there's a spot here where someone was going for a pin, and he was like talking to someone in the crowd or some shit. I'm like, nigga, if you don't focus on your job, Bryce is easily the worst referee.
That's crazy.
If not Aubrey. But I'm gonna give Aubrey some slack.
Nah. We not shit on Aubrey. There's no fucking way. There's no way we just shit on Aubrey. Ain't no fucking way.
Bryce is bad.
I'll give you Bryce. If you had a problem with Bryce, cool. But we're not fucking shit on Aubrey. Going to the match though. Fuck. The Hidden Blade One Winged Angel combo was fucking fire.
That
shit was ill.
Really dope ass spot. Really dope.
That shit was ill. Crowd loved it. Match, it was hype. Like I didn't expect this match to flop in any way, shape, or form. Post match, we see that Kenny's going after the international against Konosuke. The funny thing about this is that Kenny just put himself in the picture, the championship picture in LA. So it starts off with Cassidy versus Roderick, and then the winner of that faces off against Konosuke, and the winner of that faces Kenny at Revolution in LA, which I thought was some bullshit. I'm not about to go through these trials of fighting y'all. No, whoever wins this shit fights me. I like that.
Yeah, I have a problem with all that. Again, why are you still trying to fight the Callis family? You're not getting anything out of it. Both of you guys keep you bring up the Moxley shit like once a month, but you never do anything about it because you're purposely distracting yourself with some bullshit. It's very similar to what Nana said to Swerve, and it's like, nigga, get your championship back. But last time, no, focus on stop fucking with him. Get your championship back. What is y'all goals and ambitions? Why, Kenny? Why do you want that title? You got Moxley doing crazy shit. Ospreay, why do you want to fight Kyle again? You already beat Kyle. Now you want him in a steel cage for what? To do what? I just don't understand why they're continuing this feud. You guys won.
I think I like that. I like that because of the ego sense of it. Every last one, every superstar you just mentioned, they're letting their ego get in the way of what their desire should be, which would be the fucking belt, right? Swerve is still focusing on trying not to be being punked out by his opponents, because now you got beat by Hangman, and you got beat by Ricochet, and you got beat by Bobby. Like, it's been a tough little 3-match stretch for Swerve. So he's not trying to be a bitch right now, which I get. Fletcher and Ospreay got they beef, and that's just because they're tag team partners, and unfortunately you're tied to the callus. And Kenny feels like he's being outshadowed by Konosuke. Kenny feels like Konosuke's trying to be that guy, and you can't be that guy unless, you take me out. The thing is, I think I don't want Konosuke to give Kenny his first L, but I also don't want Kenny to beat Konosuke. That one, we could have stretched that one out. Because both of them are going to be fucking hot.
He's more than likely going to beat Konosuke because they keep talking about like how Konosuke beat Kenny twice in 1 week. And it's like, okay.
And the thing is,
that's early 2023 that's late 2023 problems, bro. I don't give a fuck about why do you get I don't know. I just don't get it, bro. I mean, the way you're explaining it makes some sense. It's just, I don't know. Everybody's focused on the wrong shit. And then, like, we haven't seen Orange Cassidy since he got Windex sprayed in his mouth, and now he's just in a championship match. What happened to you beefing with Moxley trying to save the business?
That's a fact. That's a fucking fact. He said he got Windex sprayed in his mouth. That is a fact. You should be head over heels to get to fucking Moxley. Like, there should be, no stop you there. Yeah, so we'll see how that plays out. The steel cage is enticing. I think they're going to do a pretty solid.
You know what this reminds me of? It's when you're playing a game and you accidentally talk to someone who gives you a side mission and you can't get out of the side mission.
Yep.
That's what it feels like. Like Kenny, Will Ospreay, like even Swerve, like instead of going for the main story, which should be stopping Dictator Moxley, you keep getting stuck on these random ass fetch and find quests. You keep getting stuck on these escort quests. Bitch, stop doing the side missions for a hot second. You got enough XP. Please do the fucking main story.
And you're not wrong, because even with like this week, we saw that MJF and Hangman, they're on a side mission. And they just
and so what happened to Jeff Jarrett?
Fuck Jeff Jarrett. I guess that's what it is. But yeah, everybody's on side missions and completely like not paying attention to this motherfucking Mox and them, and we'll get to it. It's like they on a bloodline like vortex kind of thing where it's like, he's not gonna lose because he got two niggas in his back pocket that's gonna help him win all these fucking matches. Like, at some way, shape, or fashion, somebody gonna come out and fucking. You're gonna get hit in the head with the briefcase by Marina. Like, that's just gonna happen. But we'll talk about that when we get there.
Yeah, comment on the briefcase.
I had a comment
specifically
like that
the briefcase,
but
yeah.
Harley versus Mercedes was the next match.
Yes.
Placed in a very interesting spot because this is probably the spot where you expect like the energy to like die out, but they put on a fucking banger. Like, Harley leaps and bounds, better than what she was before. Like, I don't know what more to say about like this match. I didn't have anything negative to say. The right person won in my person.
Nope.
No way.
Yes.
No way.
Bro, no way. I'd never want to hear anyone on the internet call Becky Hogan or Bianca Hogan. I asked you the question like 2 months ago. What does Mercedes gain from not losing? We talked about the other time with DT. We're talking about elevating talent.
Today, she didn't elevate her?
Bro, we'll see what happens after this. We'll see what happens after this. But when you said earlier today, you were like, "Can you capture lightning in a bottle twice?" When we were talking about Miro, This was the perfect moment, and this is not the first time AEW has done this because they did it with Swerve, they did it with the Acclaim. Like, this was the hottest that Harley has ever been at this moment. This was a perfect time to have her win in front of the crowd. She could lose the fucking title back. Like, it could have, like, Mercedes, Harley.
She doesn't need TBS.
Harley,
and we'll talk about that.
Like, this was the perfect lightning in the bottle match. This was like you have a new star, and this again, like they did this with Swerve. When Swerve was at his hottest, they had him lose the title match. Then he won the title match like 4 weeks later, and he wasn't as hot as he was the 4 weeks previously because you guys waited for whatever reason. Like you have this lightning in a bottle. You capture it now. And then you run with it. You like.
What's the difference between this and Yeet Man? Right? Yeet Man got destroyed by Gunther a couple times, right? lost his IC belt and everything. And we talked about it to where like, man, like how much longer can Jey survive, getting fucked over like this? All of a sudden for him to win Royal Rumble and probably going to win at Mania. My things with that is that like you could play with this the same way you're playing with like with Jey and Gunther.
You could, but you also don't have to. Harley Cameron won one match, which somehow got her a title match. Sure.
Mm-hmm.
You could have had her win on a fluke. Mercedes didn't have to be just a clean pin. It could have been a bullshit roll up. I mean, we got a roll up in another match later, but it could have been a roll up.
Mm-hmm.
You could have done a storyline where, I don't know, man. I just don't see. Mercedes has already beaten everybody, and Toni Storm has already beaten everybody. The only people that they have not beat is each other. Where do we go?
Which is probably leaning towards that.
Yeah.
But look, so here's my thing. When I say like the right person won, is that like this was her first major title match, right? This is her. She just got her first win maybe like 2 weeks ago, something like that, 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't think your next win should have been over Mercedes. That just seems kind of crazy to me. However, I do understand with what you're saying as far as like she is hot right now. Harley Cameron is hot. Her promos have been great. The music video that she did going or like rapping over the CEO beat was fucking insane. It was like she is killing shit right now. It's just you can't beat the champion off of like this one moment, You could.
I mean, you can't. I mean, you could if you wanted to. If you write it that way, you could. Like Paige won a title on her first show. Kevin Owens beat John Cena on his first main roster. Like you could have had a crazy shock value moment, and like she could have lost it. I don't know, man. I just I'm gonna let it play out, bro. But I don't like they haven't built anyone else to beat Mercedes, and we'll get into it later. But like again, Tony's already beaten everybody in that division, also.
Right.
So then like you're not building anybody else.
So like when it comes to Mercedes in this match entirely, I would like Harley to do it in LA, right? I think that's a big moment for her in LA to win it, and that can reset the TBS back to being what it's supposed to be, in my opinion, which is mid-card level women's talent. We're going to elevate those talent. We got to get the belt off of Mercedes because we don't need you to be the mid-card carrier. Your job was to carry this into the WB deal. We got the money here. We don't need you to carry this belt. We should give this to somebody else. That way we can build somebody else. There's a lot of other mid-card talent that could utilize these runs. I think right now we should start figuring out who are our main title like women, our AEW Women's Championship women, the Statlanders, the Willows, the Mercedes, like figuring out who we're gonna put inside like that division in like those pockets. I think Harley as TBS would be fucking solid because you need one serious wrestler champion, and you need somebody who's on the other side who can be like your entertainment kind of like champion, and Harley could do that. Just not off of this match. So I do agree that she doesn't need it, but we need to figure out how we get there. And is Harley going to be ready? Because the last thing we want to do is give it to somebody because they have a moment and you're not able to carry it. Hashtag fucking
Julia Hart.
Kind of. I was going to lean more into Private Party. Like Private Party beat the Bucks.
That's another example.
Terrible booked. No, you are right.
They should have won the first match, and there's like
the first time, yeah. And you can't lose momentum if you keep doing that. If you keep like getting people hot and the crowd's behind these people winning, and then like they lose, the next time you do it, it may not hit. You're getting lucky with the way it works out. I think you got lucky with Swerve because people were like, "Fuck, Hangman fucked over Swerve against Joe or whatever," and then he got it at Dynasty. But it's like you can't keep playing with like those type of outcomes. However, Mercedes gets this win here. Once again, terrible fucking finisher. I don't like her finisher at all. It just looks sloppy to me. But that's just me personally. I'm sorry, Mercedes, but it just don't look good.
It's not good. It's cool. It's a cool video game move. But again, like most of the talent are bigger than her, so it doesn't. It only really hits if she's hitting someone smaller than her, which is only like some of the Japanese talent.
But yeah, overall crowd was really behind Harley. They wanted her to get this win. The fucking mud hole stomping into the puppet was fucking hilarious. She's gonna be fine. Harley will be just fine. I think this actually did more for Harley than it did for Mercedes. I think she did do the job in putting her over. However, it's on booking to finish this process. Mercedes gave the trampoline. She's up there. It's on how TK and them book it to where, like, can we keep her, relevant, and how do we do that? Hopefully it's a rematch in LA. If not, it's going to be very interesting to see where this fucking process goes. Cope, Switchblade versus Death Riders. Shout out to the Australian crowd for doing the acapella theme. That shit was fucking hard. Similar to like how France did the Randy Orton shit. Those are always my favorite. Like, because those are just true wrestling fans. Y'all grew up with that song. I believe everybody's in the had Metalingus inside one of their playlists at some point in life. Like, especially if you're a wrestling fan, like those are just great fucking moments. I got nothing for like this match. It wasn't like the worst match. It wasn't the greatest match. It served its purpose. Cope did some pretty extreme shit. But ultimately we see that, Death Riders get involved with Wheeler Yuta, with Pac, with Marina Shafir, and Mox ends up winning by choking out Copeland.
The crowd chants bullshit. I chant bullshit.
Yeah. And it was announced beforehand too that Cope and Mox will face in LA, and I think that's the wrong move. Personally, I think it's just the wrong move. I think that the title should be dropped in LA, but I think it should be dropped to Jay White and not Copeland.
That's assuming that it gets dropped at all.
That's the thing too, and I hope that we don't care this until Dallas. Like, that's just July.
Man, I think
I don't know if I can do this.
I think he has his
July
well into gone. Okay, I just want to talk about this briefcase real quick. The title's not in that briefcase. Can we do something different? That big ass title is not in that small ass briefcase.
No.
What are we doing here?
No, not at all. Should definitely be like a duffel bag or something like that. But
they claim not to. We're not going to be the E. We're not going to insult fans' intelligence. Well, you insult mine with that small ass, tiny ass briefcase, bro. That shit can barely fit a composition book. You want to tell me that big ass triple B's in there? Come on, bro. Stop fucking with me, bro.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. Death Riders angle. It doesn't have, I mentioned earlier, it has like the bloodline elements of them always cheating to win for Mox, but it doesn't have the bloodline story. So therefore, it just does not feel as good. It feels like, fuck, we're running this shit the same time over and over again without any kind of element that kind of keeps me entertained or into it.
And then, and another reason I don't think it hits, and this might offend people, but it's because majority of the characters in this group are not cool. Like, they don't come off as cool. Like, there's with at least with like Jimmy and Jay, like they looked cool. Like they dress nice. They got Air Force Ones. Like, like no one wants to look like fucking Wheeler Yuta, bro. I don't like. If I want to be a sandwich artist, I can go down the street and do that.
Hey, we gotta relax. God damn, nigga. Fuck.
Okay, but no, seriously, like it's just they don't come off as cool. Like they like. Even if you're a kid that likes bad guys, all right, and I gravitate towards heels in my adulthood now, but it's like I don't know, they're not as cool, and I think that's another reason why it like, even though they're trying to do this bloodline thing, it's I don't even think it's the cheating. I just think it's like they come off as lame, and I think that's why, like, if they were cooler, because again, this company loves heels. Like, this is the first heel group that the fans don't really fuck with in 5 years.
Jericho.
And besides Jericho.
He got that shit on lock.
He has. He patented it. But this is. So besides like the Learning Tree and the Appreciation Society, like this is one of the uncoolest groups. It was like, I don't know, man. Yeah, I think they gotta be cool. They need a cool factor. Do something cool. Instead, we get like riddled promos. You want to see the title?
Because they're all the same character. They're all the same character in a way, right? When you think about like the Pac Claudio, Mox all represent the same, like, we're just boots to ground. We just want to fight, right? Neither one of us are flashy. Nobody here is going to be the guy that like shouldn't have been here or who's going to be the talker or anything like that. Like, they're all pretty much the same, that's probably what he wanted, to be honest. But when it comes to like heel factions like this, like you want somebody to be the who's the young guy that's like, okay, he's up next. Like, I want to be just like him. Like, they don't have that, like Mox doesn't have the cool factor of a Roman. Actually, nobody in the fucking wrestling.
Roman looks cool, like that, the aura, like no one's giving off. Like Pac looks the coolest, and honestly, that's only because of his hair, and he like the look of having like cool ass hair and doing
right. He looks like the
flips and shit. He looks like anime
the Vegeta
character
of the group. Yeah.
It's like, and for whatever reason, he's always shirtless. I don't know why. But
but he has like, that's a wrestler over there. He looks like So yeah, they do miss the element of like the coolness that you would say that would attract you to like, this is the world champion kind of thing. It works better when Mox is solo because once again, nobody around you is the same character as you, But like when you have a group of 3 people who kind of have like distinctive traits of Mox, it just feels like you're watching the same thing over and over again. And now you add no storyline or no like proper like storytelling, it really takes you out of it. We'll see. They have a really good history of like, turning something into nothing. They do it all the fucking time. So Cope versus Mox could be a fucking banger. Just need Cope to not jump off nothing like he did in this match. He jumped out of the crowd and I was like, hey nigga, relax.
Yeah, I was like, bruh, you
relax, nigga.
You just got your tibia fixed, bro. Like, what are you just got it fixed.
It's like you need to. No, anybody else can jump off the shit, just not you. Banger match that we had next is Okada versus Buddy. I think Buddy benefited the most from Malachi leaving, not in a weird fucking tribalism way. That's not what I meant, but like. The last couple weeks that he hasn't been in like the trio role, he's actually the leader of the group, quote unquote, or it looks like it. Buddy has done a really good job, they've done a really good job of pushing Buddy. Like he looks fucking phenomenal. The gear looks great. He's always had the physique and everything like that. My thing with this is that Okada don't really need the belt anymore. So who are we gonna give this to? And he's heel Okada in the full sense. Like he's grabbing the ref and pulling the ref in for low blows. Like that's been his rotation move for the past couple of weeks. Like he ain't beating nobody clean. Yeah. Like what's the end game here for Okada, and why do I feel like Buddy should have won this belt in Grandslam?
Look, I don't know what the end game is for Okada. I mean, they teased him and Kenny when Kenny came back and gave him the Intercontinental after the Classic was over or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, man. So there was 4 matches that had 4 Australian stars.
All of them did.
All of them did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, who's Australian in the Death Riders?
Wait. My bad. You're right. 4. My bad.
And I mean, we'll get to the last match, but I think both of the
Switchblade. Switchblade from New Zealand. It was all.
Okay. Yeah, man. I think. Yeah. Okay. How about this? I'm surprised Buddy didn't win. I wanted both Harley and Tony to win because I thought that would have been the right choice. Buddy would have been another good choice based off the crowd. And yeah, you can't. Not every person in the home crowd can win. That's not how wrestling works. You want people to be upset and give moments to the baby faces or whatever the fuck, or make fun of the heels. But there was, similar to the last match, I think they had the opportunity to have that feeling of what the last match had. They had the opportunity to do that at least twice, and they could have done it with Buddy or they couldn't have done it with Harley, and they didn't do either one. So yeah, I'm just as confused because it's like, again, similar question. I mean, well, you just asked the question, like, where do we go with Okada? Like this title. I still don't understand the hierarchy when we talk about title hierarchy. Like, is this title less important than the one that Konosuke has, or is this more important than the one that Konosuke has? Daniel Garcia's not doing shit with this TNT title, which is probably why they want to give it to Adam Cole. But it's just I don't know. I don't understand the title hierarchy. And once I understand that, then maybe we can understand
who's challenging.
Yeah, who's challenging? Where do these people go? Who's up next? Because I'm assuming Okada's going to keep this probably until the next Continental Classic, bro.
Probably.
So he's probably going to have it another year or whatever. So I don't know, but I think they had the chance to give this to Buddy, and maybe they'll run back a tag match or maybe they'll try to give the tag to Buddy and Brody or something. I don't know, because I don't see the Hurt Business losing anytime soon.
Nope.
But as of right now, because I was going to talk about it last episode. I mean, I would have talked about it last episode, but last week when the Hellhounds fought Kyle and Konosuke, what was the point of that? Because neither team should have lost.
Exactly.
And then
both of them are hot.
Both of them are hot. Neither team should have lost. The other team just became new. Because you guys gave us you guys gave us 2 to 3 weeks of you guys. The leash is off now. Both Will and Edge hyped up the new team because Malachi's gone, and then you have him lose right before a title match, and then he lost the title match in his home crowd.
Right.
It
doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
And maybe it's just because the way our brains just wired when it comes to storytelling and shit like that. There's just obvious holes that this should be who wins and who should be up next, and they just. AEW doesn't necessarily subscribe to the way that we think and process wrestling, and at some points I do respect it because it challenges the way we look at shit. But on the other point, it's hey, this probably would have been a good move to do it. Once again, it being a TV special, quote unquote, you probably want to do those title changes on your pay-per-views and whatnot.
Yeah,
It's a lot going on. Last match, Toni Storm, Mariah May 3.
I think this is 2, right?
I thought it was 3. Or maybe it might be 2. My bad.
I think this was 2 because the first one is when they lost. Yeah, both. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, I think this was 2.
Love the New Zealand gear by Toni. The blue was fucking fire to me. I thought that looked kind of dope on camera. Toni came out the gate with some shit. The 6 straight German suplexes was fucking nuts. My knock in this is that we got a lot of solid offense from Toni, but not a lot from Mariah. She was getting kind of ragdolled in here. I kind of wish that as the champion, you had some moments where you were showing that, hey, I'm the fucking champion. I'm the one who needs to beat you kind of thing. I felt the writing was on the wall with this, that we all knew that this was going to be Toni winning. We kind of figured that, she was doing all the promo early and whatnot, the switch of the character, you knew that she was getting it. She goes for she goes for a Mayday and it ends up in the roll up. And I hate the roll ups. I've always, no matter what fucking company, I hate it. But this one that they're trying to show storytelling elements is that she's been doing the roll up, beating people for the past 4 weeks, even before she came back as Toni. The rookie Toni was winning off of roll ups. The casino gauntlet match, she won off of a roll up. So that's just been in her repertoire of they're trying to tell stuff or tell stories in the ring. I just don't think that should have been the finish, especially considering when we were in London and she stole your move and power drived you. That was how she won the title. I think I needed something a little bit more epic to kind of cement Toni becoming AEW champion for the 4th time.
Yeah, no, that's I think Harley should have won on the roll up, and then this should have been a definitive win, similar to how Mariah got a definitive win. And then you're right, because I just watched the match. Right, I mean, I finished the match as we were hopping on, and Toni was pretty dominant majority of that match. It didn't look like there wasn't any real moment of you feeling oh, she's going to lose this one, or she just can't beat Mariah. And I do get the roll up thing, but I think you're again when it comes to capturing these moments in these particular hometown crowds, it would have been like the pop would have been louder if she would have won off of a Mayday, or just have a
Storm
definitive
Zero, or something.
it would have been because it's a more definitive win. I mean, a win is a win, but I feel like a real 3-second tan, Matt, like it would have hit more, especially after hitting her move, and it just. It wasn't a bad match. I just think like when it comes to, like, to me, it was flat. It could have been more. And when I like the flatness, it reminds me of kind of. I don't want to use this example because people are going to think I'm comparing the matches, but it was flat in the sense of Jey versus Jimmy at Mania, to where like I knew who was going to win. I knew who was going to win, but the dramaticness of the match was flat and
overshadowed.
It should have been more like this should have been the cinema stuff, because again, this whole story has been built over the last like year and a half, from when Mariah got signed to the betrayal to the amnesia. Like they just and all this means that it's not done. But I just feel like in terms of the storytelling in the match, it was flat. But the match itself was a good match.
And when you say it's not done, here's my take on that. Toni Storm is 4-time AEW World Champion. This does not need to be a long reign. Toni should be transitional. I think Toni should lose this by Dallas. Like, I don't need you carrying this any longer than what it's supposed to be. And whether that comes at the hands of Mariah sabotaging you, we need something. I don't need her to have a long, credible run as, AEW champion. Especially when you're already 4 times champion. Like, there's a lot of women that we could put in this position. I also believe that Mariah losing was the right choice, but also I need her to now build a character that's not based upon Toni Storm. Like everything that Mariah May is right now is tied to Toni Storm, and that was kind of why like her reign felt a little flat to me, because we're always waiting for Toni to come back. We didn't get to see Mariah May build a character, or this is what the glamour is like. None of that mattered because we're just waiting for the inevitable, Toni Storm. So hopefully, the second half of Mariah May, we can kind of figure out like what's her character about. Is she going to have henchmen? Is she going to change up her music, or whatever that looks like? Is she going to have split personality where she's more dangerous in the ring? Like, we just need some more character like development that's not based upon the rivalry between her and Toni Storm. So in the same vein, and as I was talking about with Mercedes, is that like we need to get these belts off of these 2 women and kind of like change who's going to be the next runners for the AEW women division.
We need a because they have the talent. They have like when it comes to the roster, they have the damn talent. And like, speaking of that,
out there F5 people.
Fucking Athena just hit 800 days.
800 days. 800.
They have the talent, but they got to.
She's going for 1,000.
Yeah, I mean, might as well. I mean, I guess. I haven't seen a single thing because I can't. Anyway, like they have the talent.
They should imagine Australia too. ROH had one.
Yeah, they need to. They just need a restart. Like they need a fresh. I mean, granted, they don't do the rankings anymore, but like everybody needs to just start at 0 again. Because they're like, where's Willow? Where's Statlander? Like you have talent. We haven't seen Baker in forever. Granted, but yeah, I don't know. We gotta, because again, Toni and Mercedes have beaten everybody except for each other. The last thing I need is fucking Mercedes to get that title too. That'd make me crash out. But they
oh, don't do the champion versus champion. I don't need that.
No,
I don't need that.
And I'm sick of people thinking that someone needs to get all the belts to like dominate. There was 2. Like I think it was Mark Henry and Bubba. It was like Charlotte should get both titles. Nigga, for what? To do what?
It ties up booking. And have we not seen Roman carry the bitch for like 4 years? Like that kind of fucked up a lot of the landscape for a while.
And like when Kenny was the belt collector, like it's cool for a picture, but I'm like, for what? No, characters don't need to be the title collector or Thanos to still be credible characters and shit like that. I just don't so yeah, no, like we don't need no champion versus champion shit. But again, like I feel like that's the route they're going to go at some point because there were like, yeah, there's not really
if you do champion versus champion, it has to make the most sense. It has to be like two undeniable fucking talent that way it makes sense. When they did Brock versus Roman, it was like, okay, champion versus champion. It made sense. These are the biggest fucking superstars in your fucking like brand. But you can't do champion versus champion if the popularity and aura doesn't match each other. You know what I'm saying? Like that doesn't do anything. Funny thing that I was thinking about is that Dynasty is kind of like the reset point. Dynasty is usually where they come in and like, we'll switch something up. So I do believe that while I wanted the belt to be lost in Dallas, you may find a new champion come Dynasty. That way you have a new champion first defend in Dallas for All In and whatever. So hopefully we ain't got too much longer to wait before we see like, you know, some new like, you know, belts and new champions and whatnot. Overall though, I did enjoy the show. I thought the show was great for a TV quote unquote special. It was fucking solid. Crowd was great. They're probably gonna do. They already announced that they're doing Australia again in 26. Hopefully, this one's a little bit more, you know,
organized,
logistically organized,
and planned better.
Definitely, maybe not battling with All Star Weekend. That would be also pretty fucking solid too.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I got nothing, man. I think it was solid. We'll see what kind of like matches they got stored next week. I know MJF and Max were facing off. MJF and Hangman are facing off next week, not in the match, but like promo wise. I kind of like that they're slowing shit down, right? Like usually, but this match is happening next week. Now we're getting like promos. Now there's little matches in between. So like they're trying to stretch out like the storylines, which is one of the criticisms that we've talked about on this pod, to where I like the matches just happening. You wanted things to be a little bit more fleshed out, and it looks like they're trying to do that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean they don't need to do that with MJF though. I don't need 20 minutes of him being an edgelord every fucking week. It is get like last week he came out to a minimal reaction compared to what he used to come out to. And it's because it's the same goddamn circle jerk. He's going to come out for 19 minutes. Oh god, I'm so honestly. I don't want to say I'm like honestly. The audience is lucky you got sick last week because I would have nuked that whole show. That whole Dustin, stop being mean, bro. You an old ass man. If you don't, whew. Okay. Anyway,
This nigga said, "Stop being mean," and he went to a place. He went somewhere. All right,
but you know, Grand Slam. I'm sure there was certain people that was thinking I was going to shit all over it. Grand Slam was a decent show. It was a good show. The match quality was typical match quality. Yeah, it was a fine show.
What the streets is saying is that beforehand, Tony wasn't doing the booking. Like the past 3 weeks in AEW has been solid. If Tony's hands is back in it, like it's been a better focused Dynamite. Like Atlanta was good. The Texas shows are good. Like, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to jinx it because we can clearly get into some fucked up shit. But as of lately, these have been more enjoyable, you know, Dynamites and Collisions for sure. But yeah, we're going to get out of here. That's it, people. That was our specials. Next week, we should be back to normal. Hopefully, nobody gets sick because this shit was fucking terrible. But yeah, we'll catch you guys in the next one. It's been real. Peace out.
Too sweet.